everybody who's anybody that grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s has heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! You've heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Your mom has heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Your dad's heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Your great-grandma has heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! And she's dead. Do you guys remember recess when little Jimmy would pull out his Beyblade and then you'd pull out your Beyblade and be like, let's battle it out. You'd whip it out, they'd hit each other, people would be like, fight, fight, fight. And then your Beyblade would ultimately lose because his had metal in it because he got it from an ice cream truck. God damn it, Jimmy. Well, Konami, they wanted to get in on this. They saw that kids had a lot of buying power, a lot of purchasing power. So they created an anime called Yu-Gi-Oh!
It's time to
And with that anime came a card game with it. In the beginning, it was simple. I'd buy a deck with Blue Eyes White Dragon, you'd buy a deck with Dark Magician, and I'd beat your ass because Seto Kaiba is better than Yami Yugi. It's a fact. Little did I know that this game would eventually evolve into this crazy competitive atmosphere. Synchro summons, XYZ summons, Link summons, you have to tap things, you gotta throw things in the air, you gotta pull things out of the grave, you gotta shuffle that deck. It's crazy. If you were a 12-year-old kid right now and you saw Yu-Gi-Oh! In its current state, you would literally think this makes absolutely no sense. So of course, I got into Yu-Gi-Oh! When I wasn't a little kid. I got into it when I was basically almost about to graduate high school. Some buddies of mine, they brought their Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks to my class and I saw it and I was like, that's really cool. Let me bring my cards from elementary school and see if they want to play with me. Little did I know is that these cards are literally Blue Eyes White Dragon. They saw me whip that out and they were like, are you joking me? That card is garbage. And I didn't know that. Everyone knew that Blue Eyes White Dragon was great. I mean, I thought it was great. Kaiba thought it was great. So they told me like the new rules, all these different new mechanics. And I was like, man, I gotta get into this. This stuff is hardcore, bro. But you know, I'm a broke little boy. Back in high school, at least, I had zero money. So I had to beg mommy and daddy to please give me some Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards for Christmas. They were like, you're a grown-ass man. You don't need this. But I begged, and then they got me some deck. I think I played Dark World at the time, and I finally would win a game or two, but I would still lose 90% of the time because little did I know, it wasn't just these starter decks you needed to get. You need to get these packs. You need to get the specific cards. You need to do these little things to make your deck even better. So around the beginnings of college, I went to community college at first, so you know, I had a lot of free time on my hands. I got really into Yu-Gi-Oh! We're talking, I had a job, I would use that money to buy more cards. I promised myself that I wouldn't spend more than I thought I would, but I think in the end, I spent close to $1,000 on Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah, I'm not even joking. This game is addicting and it's a cash cow and it is awful. It is awful for you. It is awful for your kids. I think this game is something that you should not get invested in. Let me explain why this game is bad and why I quit, and I'm so glad I'm not going back to it. Do you guys remember when Star Wars Battlefront 2 had that big scandal because they were trying to basically sell you a pay-to-win structure so you can actually play Luke Skywalker? Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is way worse. At least in Star Wars Battlefront 2, you could still win and be better than someone off of sheer skill. But in Yu-Gi-Oh! The only way to win is to have the best deck. And luckily for you, the best deck is always the newest deck because they like to do this thing called power creep, which means that every new card, every new deck is going to be better than the older ones and make them obsolete. So you have to buy the new ones. You get what I'm saying here? Basically, every single time there's a new set, the incentive for buying the new stuff is that, hey, this new stuff is better than your old stuff, so don't play that anymore, play this new stuff. That is actually stupid. And these cards aren't cheap. Most packs cost like $5, but it's like a gamble. It's like a loot box system. You're not gonna get the legendary card every single time. So if you want, you can buy the cards online individually on eBay or Amazon, but luckily for you, there's like a side market that exists that has made these cards go up to $200 a card. Yes, a piece of cardboard is $200, and this is not just like 1 or 2 or 3 cards you need. There's like 20 cards you need if you want the best deck. So essentially, it is pay to win. On top of that, say you do end up buying all these cards, right? And your thought process is, okay, I'll buy these cards, win a couple times, and maybe I'll hopefully sell them. Well, there's this thing called the ban list that exists, and there's also a thing called reprints. Let me explain both of these. First of all, they ban cards every couple months or so without giving a warning that there's gonna be a ban list, and your card that was just introduced that was so broken on purpose to sell packs will get banned or limited or something along those lines. Or even worse, instead of that card that you spent $200 on can get reprinted in another pack so that the card's value goes down tremendously. A $200 card can go all the way down to $1 after enough reprints. This is not even a good investment. In video games, if you get really good at a game, you could go to tournaments, and if you win, you can get money, or even better, you can be part of a league like Overwatch League, or even in League of Legends leagues, right? There is absolutely no competitive support from Konami for Yu-Gi-Oh! Except for the fact that they host YCSs and regional events, but besides that, there's nothing. And even at these events, the only thing you can win is just more cards, and like the glory of winning, but that's cool. But basically, there's no money in this. You put all this money into the best deck, and all you get is essentially bragging rights. Sure, you can take the cards that you win and sell them, but in the end, you're not really making that much profit for the amount of effort that goes into it. These tournaments can last all day. We're talking 9 a.m. all the way to midnight that night. It's ridiculously long and it's super unfun. Not to mention, people there for some reason never heard of deodorant. Like a lot of people, like, come on guys. And then you have the community members. Now, not every single Yu-Gi-Oh player is that bad, but there are just too many bad apples that really spoil the whole bunch. I had 2 different occasions where 2 different friends of mine had their stuff stolen, their deck and all their cards. This is cards that are all worth a total of like $400. This is so rampant that the judges had to report being like, hey guys, make sure you watch your stuff because people are known to steal stuff. The amount of stealing in the Yu-Gi-Oh community is crazy high. On top of that, people are just so desperate to win that they'll do anything they can to win. There's a thing called slow playing where you play intentionally very slow because you want to run the clock. This is called slow playing, and although you can call other people out on it, it's very hard to stop. Or even worse than this, there are people called rule sharks that will call people out on any little thing, even if it was an accident. For example, say I had a hand and I dropped my card into the graveyard, an accident. I pick it up like, whoops, that was an accident. A guy could raise his hand, call a judge and be like, excuse me, he wasn't supposed to do that, but he did that and he's breaking the rules. They just want to win so desperately, they'll do anything they can to do it. So anyway, my rant's over. If you're already into Yu-Gi-Oh, you're not going to stop playing it until you finally have a real awakening. But hopefully I open up some of your eyes to some of you people out there. You can buy some Yu-Gi-Oh cards off me if you still want to play this game. I have this binder full of cards that I'm trying to get rid of. If someone wants to, you know, just buy all of them off me, you can just send me a message on Twitter or online that you just want them. We can make a deal. I don't care. I just want to get rid of this. It's just kind of taking up space. You're just not going to get my Hanzo though, my great Grandmaster Hanzo. Anyway, to all the people out there that still play games or play different card games like Magic the Gathering, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon cards, let me know in the comments down below if you think that this is something that's happening in your game as well. Or let me know how your game does it better. If you still play Yu-Gi-Oh, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you just hate me? Do you want me to die? You know, all fair. Put it down in the comments. Anyway, I'm out. Hey everybody, so this is basically my collection that I have left. My favorite card, hands down, was always Ninja Grandmaster Hanzo. He just was never good. I think now he's getting better, but not really sure. So I'm just going to keep these Ultimate Hanzos. And this one that was signed by Galactic God, old YouTuber, he kind of quit. Anyway, everything else is for grabs, so if you want something, just let me know. Look at that. All these beautiful things. Stratos is unbanned. Some gadget stuff. Invoked. That's an ulti Bubble Man. Super Bubble Mans. Some synchros. Some fusions. Some of these are really good right now for heroes. Glow Up Bulb, Effect Veilers, just more XYZs, Exiton Knight, just some really cool stuff. Man, good times. Actually, looking back at these makes me kind of nostalgic. Secret E, Emergency Calls. I loved Heroes. Heroes was like one of my favorite decks. Kaiju stuff, Fluffle, whatever. Some Forbidden Lands, Treacherous Trap Hole. A lot of this isn't no particular order. Just I had a lot of fun. Ulti Hero Lives, Future Fusion, some other crap, Super Mass Changes, some Miracle Fusions, they're not really good anymore. Drowning Mirror Forces, some Pokemon cards, and in the back, I got these things. I used to love Miss Valley Falcon, that was my favorite cards. More Hanzos. Just some more stuff. Just go ahead and I'm just going to kind of skim through these. If you want anything, you can go ahead. I'll put a link in the description to see how you can buy any of them. If you really want them, you can just maybe put them all on eBay. I don't really know yet, but there'll be a link to see if you can just buy any of them. I played in, oh yeah, Inzectors. This was a Volcanic full max rarity. It's kind of a bad deck now. Inzectors, Metal Foe crap, and Congradle, Hunter, Monarch stuff, more fusions. This is pretty good now.
More XYZs. Some synchros and some more spell cards and stuff. Some more fun spell cards, some traps. Goes and Matchers, good now. All this crap. All this, more spells, and just this stuff. Okay. Had to cross out my phone number, it was on there. So yeah, I'll put a link in the description if you want them, but besides that, I'm out.